I was just a small town girl with big dreams. But with college out of reach, those dreams felt a million miles away. My reality was a blur of two jobs. I am a waitress at a small cafe in our town, and as a part-time, I am a delivery girl for a pizza place. And that's how I met him, Arthur. He is the most handsome man I've ever seen. I had a crush on him from the first moment I saw him. Plus, he is very rich. He lived in this massive, secluded mansion on the edge of town, a place that sparked a million rumors. He was always alone, always mysterious, and always watching me. It started with small things, a lingering gaze, a subtle compliment about my smile every time I delivered his pizza. It didn't even make sense for me. He had chefs and maids. Why would he want pizza for dinner? He would ask about my day, and his eyes, a deep, captivating blue, would make me feel like I was the only person in the world. I found myself looking forward to my deliveries to the mansion. My heart fluttered every time I drove up the long, winding driveway. I was a broke waitress, and he was this wealthy, handsome recluse. It felt like something out of a fairy tale, like I was the damsel in distress, and he was my Prince Charming. One evening, as I handed him his food, he stopped to ask me something.
You work too hard, and I've been looking for someone to help manage the house. It is a live-in position.
The pay is quite generous, but I'd love for you to work here. Here is a starting check.
My jaw nearly hit the floor. It was more money than I could dream of. It was a chance to finally escape my endless dead-end jobs. I said yes without a second thought. Moving into the mansion was surreal. It was cavernous, filled with priceless art and antique furniture. My life had completely transformed overnight. My days were spent dusting relics and polishing silverware. But I didn't mind. It meant I was close to him. He was charming, attentive, and made me feel cherished. But there were shadows in this paradise. One afternoon, while cleaning his study, I found an old framed photograph tucked away on a bookshelf. It was a wedding picture of him, looking younger with a beautiful woman by his side. They looked so happy. I was confused. Is he married? If so, where is she? The thought of him being taken made me sad. When I casually asked him about her later that day, his warmth vanished.
That's none of your concern. Don't go digging into things that don't involve you.
His voice was cold and sharp. The sudden shift terrified me, but I pushed it down. A few days later, I overheard some neighbors whispering while I was getting the mail. They were talking about the mansion's previous mistress, his wife. They said she had disappeared years ago, vanished without a trace. One woman even implied he had something to do with it. My blood ran cold, but I couldn't believe it. Not him, not the man who treated me with such tenderness. I told myself it was just a jealous gossip from small-minded people, and instead of being scared, I became more determined. I would be the one to make him forget his past, to heal his hidden pain. I would make him love me, and in time it worked. Or so I thought. He began to open up. Slowly, he'd take me on walks through the sprawling gardens, telling me I brought light back into his life. He was protective, almost possessive, and I mistook it for passion. We would have dinner together. He would buy me gifts. He pays me generously. I started feeling like the lady of the house. One night, under a sky full of stars, he got down on one knee and proposed. I was blinded by the diamond, by the promise of a perfect life. Of course, I said yes. Our wedding was a small private affair, just the two of us. After we were married, the mansion officially became my home. I was so happy. Finally, I am going to live the way I deserve. No more waiting tables, no more cleaning. Instead, I ordered the maids to clean. I love exploring the mansion. It was so massive, but
worried my charming, wealthy husband was an impostor. Years ago, he had been a drifter who looked remarkably like the real owner of the mansion.
Was calling my name. We held our breath, praying he wouldn't come upstairs. He was getting closer. The doorknob to the attic began to jiggle. He knew. Suddenly, in the distance, we heard the faint wail of police sirens. They grew louder and louder. Downstairs, we heard a crash, then the sound of his frantic footsteps running towards the back of the house. By the time the police burst in, he was gone. He had vanished into the night, just as his first wife had all those years ago. The mansion, it turned out, was legally in Eleanor's name. After the investigation, she sold everything. She was incredibly kind to me. She gave me a substantial amount of money, enough to start over to go anywhere I wanted, as a thank you for saving her life. We both left the country, choosing separate paths to new lives. We were free, but we were also haunted. We knew that somewhere out there, a monster was wearing a familiar face, and we would forever be looking over our shoulders, wondering if he would ever come back to finish what he started. I was so desperate to escape my small-town life that I almost lost the girl I used to be. But I learned that when you depend on someone else to build your world, you also give them the power to destroy it. This time, I'm not chasing someone else's world. I'm building my own.